My name is Craig, and I shopped like a billionaire on Temu. I got a huge box of motorcycle parts and an emu.
Craig, that's not an emu.
Yeah, Dan, I'm pretty sure it is.
Craig, an emu is a bird.
Ah, dang it. Well, maybe you can't get an emu from Temu. But Temu is more than just cheap clothing and home goods. They also have motorcycle parts, tools, and all sorts of wacky stuff for your garage. I bought the most clapped out Yamaha TTR 125 I could find on Marketplace. And today, we're gonna open up this box of Temu parts and see if we can get that bike back into shape.
Did you see Temu also sell tools and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow, maybe I should check that out.
You should. Download the Temu app and search Bearded100 in the search bar and claim your $100 coupon bundle today. And if you're new to the Temu app, just scan the QR code on the screen and Temu's gonna send you this portable air compressor for only $1. Now I'm really excited to open up everything we ordered, so let's get back to the shop and get to work. Come on, George, you're coming home with me. Temu kept reaching out to us and wanting us to do a video, so finally we agreed. And everything has shown up. We ordered 30 items on May 15th. On May 22nd, our first item showed up. On May 25th, 27 more items showed up.
There's 27 items in that bag.
I don't know, I hope so. I'm not sure though because...
Wait, it came like that?
I think it was a little better, but not much. So, fingers crossed. Now, these two boxes here only arrived on June 25th. So that's 6 weeks after I ordered them. Within 6 weeks, all 30 items were here. Some look to be packaged very... Well, I guess we'll see what that's like. Some seem to be packaged very well. This one here looks good. Not too much shaking going on in there. This one's in a box and a bag, that's nice. And then we have this. Not the best packaging job I have ever seen, but we're gonna dig into that here in a minute. So today we're gonna go through a rundown of everything I ordered and see what we have. I'm really anxious to dig into these boxes because honestly right now, even though it's all sitting here, I'm still skeptical. Where should we start, Dan? Should I move some of this?
Only if you want it out of the way.
So we have a lot of projects going on in the shop right now, so I ordered these parts to go on an array of projects. Also, I picked up the most clapped out Yamaha TTR 125 I could find on Marketplace, and there's a lot of parts in this pile that are gonna go on this bike. As we open things up, we're gonna sort through it. I'm gonna tell you how much they cost, my opinions, and see how they fit onto the different bikes. So I guess next we're gonna open up these bags. That's in another bag. Jingle bells, foot pegs, aluminum foot pegs. We have 2 aluminum pegs. They came with the pins, cotter pins, and the springs. Holding these, they do feel very light duty. And a couple of the things I don't like here is how I'm seeing very hard casting marks in transitions. These casting marks are just very harsh. I would be afraid that these are pretty brittle. I don't know, man. I've broken foot pegs, it's not fun. These are actually weighing in at 6.5 ounces. That is nothing. Dan, we're gonna do it, because I am so curious. Now, this came packaged like this, and it had a hole in it, and it looks like it was maybe dragged down the road at some point. So what I will say is, out of the couple different shipments we got from Temu, this one here is packaged by far the sketchiest. Yeah, but nothing's falling out. Oh, okay, well, they taped everything to the inside of the bag. That's one way to do it.
Bag just keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's a thing. Oh my gosh, we got all sorts of stuff. Boy, I don't even know where to start. Let's just start, right? We're gonna go through this stuff here pretty quick and we're gonna start getting stuff put on bikes because that's the exciting point. All right, here we go. Heated grips. Now, oh wait, no, they're not heated grips. They're just grips and a throttle assembly. This cost $8.98. Set of grips and throttle cable and throttle housing. Again, I'm gonna throw this on one of these bikes, and for that kind of money, if you're fooling around with mini bikes and whatever, why not have a set of this in your cabinet? Oh, a carburetor. Mikuni, it says Mikuni on it. Mikuni. This is a Mikuni VM24, and it costs $27.48. Here's my disclaimer for this. A, I don't believe in replacing carburetors. There's generally not a reason to replace your carburetor if it's there and it's not actually physically broken, my opinion. My second opinion is, if you do need to get a carburetor for your motorcycle, I would spend the couple $100 and buy yourself what you know is a good, legit Mikuni or Kian carburetor. One of the reasons is I have seen Mikuni carburetors like this come through from offshore sources, and they'll actually have Kian style jets on the inside. None of the passages or jets are actually the size that are marked. And what can happen is you're gonna throw yourself into a tailspin trying to get the bike to run right. But again, for $27, I had to investigate. Okay, that's all seeming legit so far. Okay, needle holder, slide. Let me pop these screws out here and let's take a look inside the bolt.
What do you think, Craig?
Man, I don't know. I don't have a pin gauge to pin the jets, but we got a float. It actually doesn't look bad.
I've been wasting all this time cleaning carbs. We could just been buying.
Could just been replacing them for 28 bucks.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. For 27 bucks, we got to throw this thing on a bike and see how well it functions. But I don't know, man. I'm still a little skeptical on this one because the chances of it being an actual Mikuni carb are pretty slim. But again, for 28 bucks, I'll play the game. Okay, this is marked as a black aluminum folding lever set. I got the clutch perch, but I didn't get the brake perch for whatever reason. Anyway, these cost $8.98. Hey, if you can make them work on your bike, why not? Now, we got a lot of little stuff here to open up. So I'm gonna open all this up really quick. You see how it's packaged. That's probably the worst of it, but everything else is just in bags and looking pretty decent. So I'm gonna open all this stuff up and show you guys what we got. Wow, man. Okay, let's start up here. Now, like I said, I got a lot of parts here to just throw in the cabinet for that day you need them. And I got parts for different projects around the shop, one being this TTR 125. Now, I picked out two different chains. This chain here is just a normal, standard duty, non-O-ring chain. And this chain costs $19.97. So just under 20 bucks for a 428 chain. That's about normal going rate for a standard duty run-of-the-mill 428 chain, right around 20 to 30 bucks. So not a huge savings, but you know, it showed up and it looks like every other chain. Now, here's where the saving comes in. This is a 428 O-ring chain. So if you look, wait a second.
What?
Is there O-rings in there? Let's investigate. Let's make sure there's O-rings in here. This one here was listed as a DID O-ring chain, and it costs like $29.48, so just under 30 bucks. If this is a legit DID O-ring chain, that's a pretty good savings because this chain should cost somewhere around 50 bucks. Pop the master link off here. Let's see. Whoa, there's no O-rings in there. 30 bucks. I don't know if it's a win-win, but it's about on par. Maybe you save yourself $10 or $15.
So it's still cheap.
It's still cheap, and I'm still gonna throw it on the bike, and it is gonna do everything it needs to do. These bars, my opinion is they're super light. They weigh absolutely nothing, and they're very narrow. Probably good for like a 50cc, 70cc bike. And I'll be honest, they're a fair deal. I would not say a good deal. I'd maybe spend a couple extra dollars and get another set of bars, like a set of fly bars. Grips. These are supposed to be Pro Taper pillow top grips. They're my favorite grips. They're the grips I always order and buy, and I generally pay about, I don't know, 12, 14 bucks a set for them. These cost $5.38, half the price. They say Pro Taper right on them. They look exactly, feel exactly like any of the other Pro Taper grips that I buy and keep here in the shop. For half the price, that's a great buy. Dan?
Craig?
I think for now what we need to do is get this bike up on the table and start throwing some of these parts on it to see how everything fits and works. So where do we start? This bike is ugly. So we got these, look, our clutch lever is broken and bent, all janked up, half worn out. Our grips are obviously shot. Brake levers bent, broke, twisted, that whole thing. Throttle cable, that's not supposed to be like that.
Oh.
So they just put a spacer in there made out of, I don't even know, to help take the slack out of the throttle cable. It already came equipped with a Chinese carburetor. Our chain is shot, that is toast. Good thing we got a chain. Our foot pegs are bent. Okay, so I think where we're gonna start is up here in the front, try to get some of these controls and stuff situated. Let's pull this off. I can replace that with this. Look at that.
Pro taper, pro taper.
It still has the decal backing.
Sealed for freshness.
Right? So right off the hop, for $3.59, I got this Pro Taper bar pad. Okay, what else do we got here? So let's take grips off. So no, these are bad. These are kind of a little small, aren't they? They're not crazy small. Let's throw them on. What the heck, right?
What the heck? We got him.
We got them. Let's throw them on there. We're gonna shop like billionaires, man. I order everything. Should have ordered 6 or 7 more sets of them bars.
Rebuild your dirt bike like a billionaire.
I guess thinking about this, maybe a billionaire would just go buy a new bike and wouldn't have to do this, but I enjoy shopping like a billionaire when it comes to bike.
Well, if the billionaire enjoys rebuilding a dirt bike,
Right, good point.
or they make somebody else do it, like Greg.
Greg, he don't know any better. Okay. So far, so good.
We golden.
Oh. I'm not sure I picked the right rise and width for these bars, but the neat thing is on Temu, they had all the different options, so you can get bars to fit whatever bike you want. We can slide the bar pad over this. Do this, maybe we can even convince our buddies that they're Pro Taper bars. Looking sharp so far. Okay, so from here, let's pop off our master cylinder. Clutch perch. Man, those bars look funny on there, don't they?
You think they look too small?
They do look small.
Yeah, I guess they do.
They do, right? Oh my God.
Maybe they'll feel better once you put the grips on
I
them.
doubt it. These are so tiny. I am going to replace the throttle tube, throttle housing with this. So that's gonna go on. Here's our new throttle and throttle tube and our new throttle cable. I'm gonna be honest, this assembly here right now is looking like every other generic throttle assembly I've ordered. Push that up through there, get our cable guide in correctly. Okay, so far this stuff is all fitting very nicely. We'll slide our new one on. Okay, let's blow the tank, seat, fenders, stuff here off the bike, get to the insides, and start putting on all these other little pieces. Now we have the tank and the seat off, I can kind of see a little better what's going on here. And along with that old janky throttle cable and throttle cable housing, we got a Chinese carburetor, and apparently it didn't fit to the intake boot correctly because it's all electrical taped on there. The other thing I noticed is that our air filter is dry. The air filter was never oiled. So that has me a little concerned with the top end of this engine. It does have compression. There it goes. But for now, we're gonna go to the foot pegs and see if those foot pegs I got will fit on here and we can get rid of these bent ones. Doing this upside down left-handed is always fun. There we go. Okay. Now, one thing I will say, I don't think I'd be putting $10 foot pegs on my big bike. The main reason is because I'm girthy and I don't trust it. But I think these are gonna be just fine on here because it's probably gonna be a little guy riding this thing. So that's gonna be an issue because, and it's not a horrible problem, what we can do is drill this out to match this pin. Drills like butter. Oh look, I knew it. Remember when I said I wasn't sure about this?
What?
Look, can you see in there where I drilled? I hit a cavity. See it in there?
Uh-oh.
There we go. Man, that's actually really nice. I like that. And for 10 bucks? Now, again, I don't think I'd put this on my kid's race bike or my race bike to go out and jumps and run motos or, you know, that kind of thing. But man, for around the yard, dude, if you're just trying to keep your kids running, this is perfect, dude. Let's put that other one on. Okay, that one, oh, now we hit cavities up on that side.
Oof.
All right, there we go. Cool, what do we got next? Well, we can do the chain. We got a new chain. When you pull in the back of the sprocket, that's a good sign that the chain needs to be replaced. The other good way to test that is the chain should not be able to bend like a U. See that? Let's compare that to the new chain just for funsies. put this one on because this one here looks awesome.
I mean, we already got gold.
We already got gold bars.
Might as well go all the way.
That's right. Yeah, see the difference?
Oh my.
Big difference. So we're gonna end up cutting that. That is gonna be so much nicer. Chain comes apart, master link goes on. We are looking good. I am happy with the way this is shaping up thus far. Okay, now one of the other things I'm really excited for to put on this bike is in this box right here. This is actually a big bore kit. It's supposed to be a big bore kit, we'll see. Includes camshaft, rings, piston, cylinder, rockers, gaskets, wrist pin. And this is to go from the TTR 125 to a 150cc. A regular big bore kit for this bike costs, put it right here somewhere, editor. So how I can buy this for less than $100 and get it shipped to my house, I don't know. It's nutty. I'm gonna open this up and see what we have. And what I'm thinking, if this all looks legit, Dan, fam Dan,
Bad famalama.
whole fam damly. If this actually looks legit, we're gonna throw this bike together, we're gonna run it the way it is, and then we're gonna throw this big bore kit on it and run it again. Because like you, like me, I'm sure you're like me, and I'm sure I'm like you, and I am very curious as to what we got here. So there's our cylinder, piston, what do we got in here? Wrist pin clips, valve seals. Oh, that's interesting. So these are marked EN, I'm guessing engine, 125 standard, but I bought a big bore kit. So we're gonna have to do some measuring here. What else do we got? Ooh, we got a camshaft. Tiny little camshaft.
Jeez, what the?
Slippery little sucker. Oh, we got rockers. Roller rockers, yo. Check that out.
Yo.
This cylinder, those look like Yamaha markings if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, that looks legit. Okay, then we have our marks here for our CCs. 123 CCs. That keeps us at our 123 CCs just like a stock one. So that's a bummer. I thought I was getting a big bore kit and I didn't. I got a standard kit. All right, well, that's a bummer, but I'm still really impressed that for less than $100, I got a whole top end kit sent to me. So I'm gonna change my plans here a little bit. Instead of putting all the bike back together so we can go out and ride it with the stock stuff, the stock engine parts in and see how it does, and then put the big bore kit in, what I'm gonna do is fire up the bike now so you guys can hear it run, and then I'm gonna pull the engine apart, put this stuff in, and fire it up again and go ride it so we know that this stuff fits and actually works. I guess next step is we fire up this bike so you can hear it run. Nice. Okay, so it's a runner. All right, cool. So we got the top end of this engine apart, and I'm actually really surprised with how well this stuff is matching up. Now, I did think that I bought a big bore kit, and then when I started looking at this, I was like, oh man, maybe it's not a big bore kit. It's marked 123 cc's, just like the original. The first thing I noticed when I set these side by side is A, how close they actually do look to each other. But there's a whole lot more meat here on this sleeve than there is on this one. And that even comes to the backside. But look at the thickness of this cylinder wall versus the thickness of this wall. 3.39 millimeters versus 1.4. So, I mean, it's almost like 2 millimeters difference. And then I measured, if you measure the pistons, the new piston measures in at 56.4 mil, and the stock standard piston measures in at 53.53. So this is in fact a big bore kit. The other thing, this is the normal rocker out of this engine, and if you notice, it's just a normal pad follower. The new kit comes with roller rockers. Look at that as an upgrade. Pretty cool. Okay, so the camshafts are ground differently. I'm not gonna go through all these measurements and specs, but there is a different grind on the cam. What exactly it's ground to, I have no idea.
Temu tolerances.
Temu tolerances. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure our ring end gaps. Okay, I should have 0.15 millimeter on the low side. And I can almost tell by looking here, we are nowhere close to having enough. Yep, we are way tight on the ring end gap. You always want to measure the ring end gap when you're putting engines together like this, because when it's in the cylinder, this gap closes, and there's a certain tolerance there. As the engine heats up and the rings heat up, they're going to expand, and that's going to make that tolerance even tighter. So if there's not enough of a gap here, and that gets tight and it expands and keeps expanding, it's going to crack a ring. That's not good. Okay, so these rings are going to need to be ground. What you do there is you take a file and you just start filing these edges until you get enough of a gap. Let's compare pistons. The machining is very close. Got our oil holes. They are all clean and debris free. Everything I'm seeing here is pointing to this thing is good. Now, one of the things that happens when I ordered this is, unfortunately, Temu has 0 for description. I knew it was a big bore kit for a TTR 125 and a year range, but there was no information on what camshaft was with it or any of that other stuff. So you're just kind of on your own. Another thing that does not come in the box is any sort of instructions. So you need to make sure you have a manual so that you can go through and figure out what the ring end gap should be, what the piston to cylinder clearance should be, which ring goes where. So here we have 2 different rings. One's marked R, one's marked RN. Now, general rule of thumb is the markings will go up, but without any sort of instructions or anything like that, you need to be able to figure out and find the information you need so you know which ring goes where and that sort of stuff. So here's where we're at, Dan. I need to file these rings, and then I want to throw this whole thing back together. We're going to ride it and make sure it holds up. See what happens. This kit came with a base gasket, head gasket, and cam chain tensioner gasket that goes here. Did not come with the O-ring for under here, and it did not come with the O-ring for this cover. Not a big deal, but it did come with valve seals. So you have that. There it goes. All right, awesome. So we get our cam chain up through there. Spinning rather nicely. Nice. All right. Next is our head gasket. Okay, we have our Temu big bore kit in. Everything's bolted up. Also put on the new Temu Mikuni carburetor. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do before trying to fire this thing up is a compression test. Before I pulled the engine apart, I did a compression test with the stock parts that were in there, and I got 175 PSI, which is good. But now let's see what we have with this new setup. Ooh, look at that. 190 pounds. So we went from 175 to 190. So far, so good. We're going for it. Let's get a little gas. Guess all there is to do now is kick. See what we got here, Dan. I'm excited. Dude, second kick. Oh. It is puking fuel out of the... I wonder if you got a stuck float or something. Watch, there won't even be like a needle in it.
That's a lot of fuel coming out.
Okay, so gonna have to pull that carburetor and see what's going on there quick. All right, so if we flip this upside on, gas is gonna leak out. I think it's holding a lot of gas. Holy mackerel.
It shouldn't have that much gas in it.
Well, I don't know. It's gonna hold however much this holds. I don't even know how good that gas is. Eesh, probably put some fresh gas in there. That doesn't smell so swift. Everything's looking pretty legit. So let's see what's going on here. That screw is tight as can be. This screw is the valve, okay? Comes in here, you can see this passage. So this is a tapered screw. So the overflow comes into here, and then this screw, like I said, is a tapered screw, and that closes this passage coming out the overflow. So if you want to drain your float bowl, you loosen this and it allows your float bowl to drain. But you should be able to tighten it so that this is tight. I shouldn't be able to blow air through there. All right, let's see if we can get this thing off. If we can't, we're gonna have to go to plan B. Oh, there it goes. So what's going on here? I got it to turn. Can I get it to go in any further? Farther? No, it's tight. There we go. Good to go.
That was easy.
Let's see if that is any better. Man, fancy. On. Nope, it's leaking.
It's already leaking?
Started leaking again. Well, that probably just put a whole bunch of gas into the motor. Let's see. It sounds good. It's a little high on that idle there, but
Did it stop leaking?
looks like it. There's a little noise here in the top end, but it's actually quieter and sounds better than it did with those other parts in it. It's not as clangy or bangy. Everything looks to be sealing well. It's idling. I mean, holy mackerel. I'm actually impressed. Oh, it's leaking again. Just pouring gas. Oh, the needle's not seating, is what I am finding. See if we can figure out what's going on. All right, so let's get that. Now that should be not allowing fuel to flow. And then fuel flow, and then no fuel. Fuel, no fuel. I'm gonna hook this up to fuel while it sits here. So far, so good. Just took a little float adjustment, that's all. Okay, we should now be okay. Get in there where you belong, gasket. Okay, and now it's leaking.
Again?
Again. So the problem we're having is the carburetor is still leaking. No matter what I do, carburetor is still leaking. It's coming past the needle in the seat. As soon as I turn fuel on, it just starts pouring out. But take a look at this. Running out of gas. I gotta say, I am super impressed with this big bore kit. We're having a problem with the carburetor, but the nice thing is Temu has a 90-day return policy. So I'm gonna put it back in the box and send it back. I take it back. They do have a really good 90-day return policy, but I got this carburetor to stop leaking, just took a little float adjustment. So carburetor is in, big bore kit's in, did address the not oiled air filter. I got our new Pro Taper grips on, new throttle assembly, Pro Taper bar pad, Temu bars, clutch lever, clutch perch assembly, throttle cable, and chain. I need to tighten up the chain yet, get that adjusted, and I need to put a tube in the front tire because it was flat, and I thought maybe if I put air in it, it wouldn't be flat anymore, but it turns out it's still flat. So I'm gonna put a new tube in that, and then we're gonna take this TTR on the Temu tidbit ride. Nailed it.
That's what.
First try. Some of this stuff has been, in my opinion, fantastic buys. Dude, these grips for half price of what you can get them for at other online places. I'm really excited about this big bore top end, dude, for 95 bucks. Went together and it's holding together so far. I mean, we haven't gotten it off the table yet, but you know, so far so good. Yeah, and there's some other really good stuff here. So, yeah. Tube, chain, there is fresh oil in it. Now that the Temu stuff's on, we're gonna throw it back together and go take it for a ride. We're gonna take it down the Temu tidbit trail. We got all sorts of tids and bits on this thing from Temu, so I'm very excited.
Excited. All right, let's do it.
All right. What a fun little bike, man. Man, for like less than 200 bucks, we got this thing up and going. And it's a total blast to ride. Bars felt good, grips felt good, engine's running strong. Carburetor needs a little tweaking yet, but man, chain's holding up. Foot pegs felt great. Oh shoot, now we're leaking gas.
We're leaking gas again. Pretty quickly too. Can't win them all, Craig.
Can't win them all. Now Temu sent us a whole bunch of these parts, and there's a couple things that I learned. One, Temu is not a scam. It is a legit company. You order things, they ship them to you. Shipping wasn't so bad. I think 2 items took 6 weeks to get delivered. Everything else we had within like 7 or 10 days, which is almost on par with Amazon at this point. At the end of the day, I think it's a buyer beware kind of deal. If you're a little mechanically inclined and you know what you're getting, you can get some really good deals. I think pretty much everything that I put on this bike is a really good deal, except for maybe the carburetor. Everything else seemed to be really good. I was super excited. I was really curious about engine parts. How can you buy a $100 big bore kit for a bike like this when they should be $400? We bolted it in and it works. It fired up easy. It runs good. Hey, I'm impressed. So if you're looking for some good deals on motorcycle parts, you might as well check out Temu. If you're a first-time Temu user and you click on the link in the description below, you're gonna qualify for the $1 tire inflator. Check that out. I was pleasantly surprised. I'll be honest, it was pretty much a great experience shopping on their site. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan's gonna put a video here and here. Check them out. I know you're gonna love them. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later.